something has changed in season 6 of The Chosen. And not in a gentle way, whispers of betrayal, shocking twists, and emotional scenes are already surfacing. But the most intense part? The brutal leak that stunned fans before the season even aired, with rumors flooding in and the release date drawing closer. This isn't just another season, it's a powerful storm on the horizon. And if you thought you were emotionally prepared, think again. The calm of previous seasons is shattered. What's coming in? The Chosen. Season 6 is darker, deeper, and far more intense. Recently, a shocking leak made its way across fan circles, revealing moments that are emotionally jarring and spiritually heavy. Unlike past seasons that focused on healing, hope, and personal growth, Season 6 leans into pain, conflict, and choices that will change lives forever. It's not just another chapter, it's a turning point. And if the leaks are even half true, we are about to witness one of the most unforgettable seasons of The Chosen. The leaked scripts suggest a brutal betrayal among the disciples, one that fans never saw coming. While the show has always portrayed the internal struggles of those close to Jesus, this season reportedly takes that conflict to another level. A deep divide forms between key characters, not just in belief, but in loyalty. One moment, they're united in faith. The next, driven apart by fear and doubt. According to sources close to the set, this emotional tension is so raw, it left some actors in tears after scenes were shot. And that says a lot. Fans who followed the journey from Season 1 will immediately notice the shift in tone. Season 6 doesn't hold your hand. It throws you into the fire. The relationships we've grown to cherish are tested like never before. Even Jesus appears more solemn, burdened by what's to come. Gone is the sense of quiet peace that once surrounded the group. In its place, an overwhelming sense of urgency. Every word matters. Every decision could lead to heartbreak. One of the most brutal parts of the leaked content involves a major confrontation, one that puts the disciples at odds in a dangerous way. While we won't spoil who's involved, the betrayal is personal and it cuts deep. For a show built on trust, forgiveness, and divine love, this shift into painful reality is powerful. Some fans are already calling this season the most human, as it dives into fear, anger, jealousy, and despair. The Chosen has always made viewers feel close to the story, but Season 6 pulls you even deeper until it hurts. Adding to the tension is the uncertainty around who will endure the season's biggest tests. Rumors suggest that one character might walk away for good, turning their back not just on the group, but on the mission itself. This isn't just about walking away from faith, but from family. And the emotional weight of that decision could break even the strongest viewers. It's no longer just about following Jesus. It's about survival, both spiritual and emotional. Behind the scenes, the creators have remained mostly silent. No official confirmation of the leaks has been made, but insiders say the showrunners expected reactions like this. They knew the risk of going darker, but they believe the story demands it. They're not softening the message. They're not sugarcoating the truth. They're showing the cost of faith when the road gets hard, when betrayal becomes real, and when love must fight through suffering. But why this sudden shift? Why take such a beloved and hopeful show into such dark territory? Some say it's preparation. The story is moving closer to the inevitable, Jesus' arrest, trial, and crucifixion. As that moment approaches, the world around him begins to crack. The characters feel the pressure, and as viewers, we're being pulled into that tension. The message? Faith doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels like heartbreak, and this season dares to show us why. Season 6 isn't just storytelling, it's a test. A test for the characters, for the creators, and for every fan watching. Can love survive betrayal? Can faith hold strong under pressure? These are the questions that will echo through every episode, and judging by what we've seen so far, the answers won't come easily. As The Chosen Season 6 unfolds, it becomes clear that no one is safe from the storm brewing among the disciples. The emotional leaks have only scratched the surface. Beneath them lies a deeper narrative filled with personal struggle, spiritual confusion, and a growing sense of doom that threatens to swallow everything these characters have built. The harmony we saw in earlier seasons is crumbling, and what remains is a raw, vulnerable look at how fragile faith can be when the world starts to fall apart. One of the most gripping parts of this season is how the disciples are no longer just students of Christ. They are now torn individuals caught between belief and doubt. The once solid foundation is now shaking. A major leak suggests a painful moment where one disciple directly challenges Jesus, not out of rebellion, but out of fear. That fear spreads like wildfire. The close brotherhood that once held them together is fraying thread by thread. Words are sharper now, arguments are louder, and in some scenes, silence is the most painful sound of all. We also see how outside pressure is closing in. The Roman authorities are not just background figures anymore, they are now a very real and dangerous threat. Their presence brings intensity to nearly every interaction. One misstep, one wrong word, and the consequences could be deadly. In one leaked segment, a secret meeting among the disciples is interrupted, and the panic that follows shows how fragile their safety really is. These men are no longer just followers of Jesus, they are targets. But the emotional weight of Season 6 doesn't come only from external threats. The real heartbreak comes from within. There is a moment, described in the leaked plot, where two disciples, once like brothers, find themselves completely at odds. One believes in staying close to Jesus no matter the risk. The other believes it's time to disappear, to lay low, to survive. The resulting argument is not just about strategy, it's about the very core of faith. What do you do when belief puts your life in danger? Can you still call it faith if you're running from it? The show doesn't pull punches. It doesn't try to paint the disciples as perfect. It shows them as humans, flawed, emotional, afraid. And that makes every choice, every tear, every act of courage hit harder. One particularly emotional leak suggests a private conversation between Mary Magdalene and Jesus that leaves her in tears. Though the exact words haven't been confirmed, sources say the scene is about loss, about what's coming and what can't be stopped. It's a moment of tenderness wrapped in tragedy, and it may be one of the most heart-wrenching scenes in the series to date. For longtime fans, this is the season where everything changes. The lessons Jesus teaches are no longer safe stories told in quiet fields. They are lifelines in a collapsing world. Every parable, every sermon, every moment with him now feels more urgent. And the people listening are desperate, not just for answers, but for hope. Even viewers who know the gospel story will find themselves holding their breath because The Chosen adds such emotional weight to these familiar events, making them feel brand new and terrifying all over again. Another striking leak reveals a growing tension between Jesus and Judas. While earlier seasons hinted at Judas's inner conflict, Season 6 brings it into the open. According to those who've seen early footage, Judas begins to isolate himself emotionally. His glances are colder, his questions are sharper, and his presence in the group starts to feel different. There's a chilling moment, reportedly from episode 4, where Judas stands alone, staring at something off screen, and whispers something under his breath. No one else hears it. But viewers will, and it may change how they see him forever. This isn't just drama for drama's sake. Every painful moment serves a purpose. The story is leading us to the most important event in human history, and the creators are making sure we feel every step of that journey. They want us to understand what it cost the people who followed Jesus, not just in terms of danger or persecution, but emotionally, spiritually, deeply. And that cost is now showing itself in ways no fan could have predicted. The stakes are higher, the tension is thicker, the choices are harder, and the consequences? Devastating. If Season 6 continues down this path, and all signs say it will, then fans are in for a roller coaster of heartbreak, fear, loyalty, and ultimately unshakable love. But that love will be tested like never before, because before there can be resurrection, there must be loss. And The Chosen isn't afraid to take us through the darkness to get there. The storm has been brewing, but in The Chosen Season 6, it finally breaks. And the eye of that storm is Judas Iscariot. Until now, he's been a background player, polite, observant, always calculating. But the leaks suggest that this season brings Judas into sharp focus, and the transformation is chilling. We're not just watching a man make a mistake. We're witnessing a soul fracture in real time. One of the most haunting moments teased in the leaks is a quiet scene between Judas and Jesus. No music, no crowds, just the two of them, seated in dim candlelight. Jesus, with eyes full of sorrow, speaks to Judas with a tone fans haven't heard before. It's not anger, it's heartbreak. He seems to know what's coming, and Judas, well, he doesn't respond the way you might expect. There's no confrontation, no outburst, just a silence so loud it will leave viewers holding their breath. It's the kind of scene that says everything without saying much at all. But Judas's path doesn't change overnight. That's what makes it so tragic. The show is masterfully slow burning his fall. The tension leaks show that he starts pulling away, missing group gatherings, whispering to someone off camera, and, in one intense scene, slipping away under cover of night. Fans who've watched closely will recognize the foreshadowing, but what makes it devastating is how believable it feels. Judas isn't a monster. He's lost, conflicted, trapped between loyalty and ambition, between faith and fear. There's also growing speculation about a new character being introduced, a mysterious figure connected to the temple priests or Roman officials, who begins to influence Judas in subtle ways. Viewers won't be hit with obvious manipulation. Instead, the dialogue will be gentle, almost kind, even logical. "You're just trying to protect what matters," the man says. If Jesus is truly the Messiah, then what harm is there in making sure everything unfolds as it should? And just like that, a seed is planted. The leaks also hint at a devastating moment when Judas overhears the disciples mocking a decision he made innocently, without knowing he's listening. The hurt on his face, the way he lowers his head and walks away without a word, shows just how isolated he's become. It's not betrayal born from evil. It's betrayal born from pain, from feeling unseen, unwanted, misunderstood. And that's what makes it so terrifyingly human. Meanwhile, Jesus himself begins to change, not in character, but in intensity. His teachings grow sharper, more urgent. There's less time now. In one leaked scene, he turns to his followers after a parable and says, "Not all of you will remain." The camera lingers on their faces. Some are confused, some afraid, and one can't meet his eyes. That moment will send shivers down your spine. Relationships within the group are strained. Peter becomes more aggressive, desperate to keep the group together. Matthew grows distant, weighed down by guilt from past sins. Mary Magdalene tries to comfort others, but even she begins to doubt her strength. The unity of the 12 is unraveling, thread by thread, and every episode pulls at those threads harder. The sense of doom is no longer distant. It's creeping in step by step. One emotional highlight, leaked from episode 6, shows Jesus performing a miracle in a village filled with skeptics. The scene should be joyous, but the atmosphere is heavy. The people rejoice, but Jesus stands alone afterward, almost mourning. It's as if even the miracles no longer bring him peace. And Judas, watching from a distance, seems conflicted, his face unreadable, his loyalties unclear. The show doesn't rely on dramatic music or forced dialogue to show the danger. Instead, it leans into silence, glances, pauses that stretch just long enough to make you uncomfortable. And in those quiet moments, you feel it. The weight of what's coming. The betrayal isn't just an event. It's a slow death. A quiet tragedy unraveling before our eyes. By the time the viewers reach the latter half of season 6, they won't be asking if Judas will betray Jesus. They'll be wondering how it could have been stopped. Could someone have noticed? Could someone have reached him in time? And that's the power of The Chosen. It doesn't just show us what happened, it makes us feel the emotional cost of every decision. This isn't just about one man's fall, it's about how even the closest to the light can get lost in the shadows. The betrayal is coming. We know it. Judas knows it. Jesus knows it. But watching how it happens, piece by piece, is a masterclass in storytelling that leaves viewers shaken. And still, the darkest moment has yet to arrive. The air grows still in the final episodes of The Chosen Season 6. The energy has shifted. No more parables, no more time for questions. What once felt like a hopeful journey now feels like the quiet before a storm that's been approaching since Season 1. Every whisper from the leaks confirms it. The climax is near. And it's not just brutal, It's soul-piercing. Judas is no longer conflicted, he's made his choice. But it's not the choice we expect from a villain. According to one major leak, Judas convinces himself that he's helping Jesus fulfill his destiny. If he truly is the Messiah, Judas whispers to himself, he cannot be harmed. He will rise. They just need to see it. That's the heartbreaking twist. Judas doesn't think he's betraying Jesus. He thinks he's forcing a revelation. But what he's actually doing is shattering everything. The leak reveals the scene that fans have long dreaded, but somehow hoped would be different. The garden, the darkness, the soldiers, and that infamous kiss. But The Chosen doesn't play it with melodrama. No thunder, no screams, just silence. The kind of silence that crushes the chest. Jesus looks at Judas with eyes full of love, not anger. And that love destroys Judas more than any rebuke ever could. It's quiet, personal, almost intimate. As if Jesus is saying, I still see you, even now. And that breaks something deep, not just in Judas, but in the viewer. The betrayal is done. The soldiers move in. Chaos erupts. Peter draws his sword, slashing wildly. The disciples are yelling. But Jesus stands still, calm, like he was waiting for this. Like every miracle, every step, every moment of grace was leading here. It's the kind of moment where you forget you're watching a show. Because your heart is racing. Your eyes are welling. You want to reach through the screen and stop it. But you can't. None of us can. From here, The Chosen doesn't hold back. The leaked final scenes show Jesus being dragged away, bloodied but dignified. The disciples scatter, Peter weeps, and Judas disappears into the night. Not triumphant, not satisfied, just broken. One leak describes a shot of Judas sitting alone beneath a tree, holding the bag of silver, staring at his hands like he doesn't recognize them anymore. No music, no words, just a man who thought he was doing something right, and now realizes he's lost everything. And then, silence. But The Chosen doesn't end Season 6 with the betrayal alone. Number. According to insiders, the final moments bring us to the trial. Jesus, standing before the Sanhedrin, bruised, mocked, but unshaken. There's a calmness to him that terrifies his enemies. He doesn't defend himself. He doesn't plead. He simply looks at them, and in that gaze is power, sorrow, and forgiveness all at once. You don't need words to know he's still in control. Even here. Even now. The season ends, as leaked, not with a dramatic crucifixion, but with a door closing. A literal one. Jesus is led into a dark cell. The camera stays on that door. The light dims. The sound fades. And then, black. No music. No final narration. Just darkness. And that's what makes it unforgettable. This isn't just a show anymore. Season 6 transforms The Chosen into something deeper. It forces the audience to sit with discomfort, to wrestle with betrayal, love, guilt, and destiny. It's not about who was right or wrong. It's about what it means to love someone enough to let them go, even if they walk toward destruction. And that's the brutal brilliance of Season 6. It doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you need. A mirror, a question, a wound. One that only Season 7 might begin to heal. But until then, all we can do is wait, with heavy hearts and eyes still wide open.